the year 1939 to 45 was the year of World War II, where we believe in this kind of arrangement that World War II emerged in this world, where I can say that World War II was a devastating war that befell the world during the period 1939 and 1945. It broke out on 30 September 1939 following the German invasion of Poland on 1st September 1939 and ended with the Japanese surrender on 15th August 1945. There were two camps, Berlin-Rome total axis, German, Italy and Japan on one side against the Allied powers, Britain, France and Russia and later USA on the other. It is said the world faced another great catastrophe in this world, where the world experienced World War II. We are challenging minds. What caused World War II in this world? Number one, the effects of World War I. We believe by this time, World War I led to the defeat of a country called Germany. So in this game, we are realizing that Germans could not sit just like that. They wanted to revenge. It is this that made Hitler to form Berlin-Rome total axis to fight back against a country called Britain and the Allies. And by this time, Britain formed the Allied powers camp, and this led to World War II. So the effects of World War I that led to the defeat of Germany made the Germans to rise up as they wanted to revenge. And they formed the Berlin-Rome total axis, which had to fight against the Allied powers camp. And this led to World War II. Friends, I usually tell you our customer Farouk of Uganda's idea, no one is coming. No one is what? The government is busy. Your clan is busy. Even your friends are what? Busy. So it's upon us to liberate our what? Ourselves. So another one, the weaknesses of the Versailles Peace Treaty of 1919. What happened at Versailles? It is said Versailles Treaty disarmed only one country called what? Germany. It was the disarmament of only one country called the German that annoyed the Germans. And by this time, they were not willing to accept what the diplomats were saying. That's why when Germany got a stubborn leader in form of Adolf Hitler, instead of disarming, Hitler rearmed the country called what? Germany. And by this time, this led to World War II. The Versailles Peace Treaty, in the war guilty clause, it blamed only one country called what? For causing the war. It is this that annoyed the Germans. And by this time, the Germans had to rise up against the Versailles Peace Treaty. And finally, they caused World War II. So the years 1939 to 45 were years of wars, my friend. Another one, as we are moving on, the rise of dictators in Europe and Asia. It is said the rise of dictators in form of Adolf Hitler and Mussolini. These dictators led to World War II. What's all about this? I can say their mission was not only to control their country, but they wanted to control the whole of Europe and prosper the whole world. I can tell you, Britain could not accept this, seeing stubborn men, Hitler and Mussolini, dominating this world. That's why Britain formed the Allied powers camp to fight against Hitler's Berlin-Rome total axis. So we are saying today, the rise of dictators who wanted to control the whole of Europe and prosper the whole world, threatened the other powers like Britain. They formed the Allied Powers Camp to fight against the Berlin-Rome-Tokyo axis, and this led to World War II. Then the renewal of the alliance system. We are saying today, alliance system caused World War I, but it was renewed where Germany formed the Berlin-Rome-Tokyo axis and Britain formed the Allied Powers Camp. So it was the renewal of the alliance system that caused World War II. Because the hard question is, did they renew the alliance system to act as football teams or what? They had a mission. The mission was about fighting. That's why when Hitler attacked Poland, they capitalized on that to attack one another, and the world experienced World War II. So we are saying the rise of stubborn dictators in form of Hitler and Mussolini. Hitler was so stubborn that even he introduced a subject called Hitler, where students had to study about him. Can you imagine? It is this that threatened the European powers and finally led to the war. Another one, we are saying in this kind of arrangement, nationalism, love for one's country. We are saying today, when Poland was given its independence, in Poland there were 2 million Germans. 2 million what? Germans. The Germans could not accept the 2 million Germans to be under the Polish rule. That's why by this time, the Germans, what they did, Hitler claimed for a country called what? Poland. He told the Chamberlain of Britain, I want Poland today. Chamberlain said, I cannot give you Poland. Hitler attacked Poland by force, and this caused World War II. Nationalism, love for one's country. I can tell you Hitler loved the country, could not accept German to be under the Germans to be under the Polish what? The Polish rule. Then the ideological conflicts in Europe. It is said the leading powers, Britain were supporting democracy, Germany and Italy supporting dictatorship. Supporting what? So the ideological conflict between democracy and dictatorship made those that were fighting dictatorship to rise up against those that were fighting democracy. And this led to World War II. The year 1939 to 45, there were years of World War II. Another one, the renewal of arms race. It is said arms race was renewed. Competition in the production of military equipment between Berlin-Rome-Tokyo axis and the Allied powers. They were competing for the production of dangerous military what? Equipment. The question is, were they producing military equipment to be used as decorations on a wedding day or what? They had a mission. The mission was about fighting. That's why they capitalized on what happened on Poland to attack one another. Then the Spanish Civil War. It is said 1936 to 39, what happened in Spain. It is said the Spanish Civil War, where General Franco was supported by Mussolini and Hitler. Mussolini and what? As Mussolini and Hitler supported General Franco, and Franco took political power. This made Mussolini and Hitler to believe that we can fight against Britain, because Britain and others were against the rise of General Franco in Spain. So when Mussolini and Hitler supported Franco and they succeeded, this gave them courage to fight against Britain and France. And it is this that led to World War II. Then the policy of appeasement. Appeasement policy. This was a policy. You hear this one. This was a policy introduced by a man called Chamberlain. A man called who? Chamberlain introduced the appeasement policy where he wanted to make Hitler and Mussolini happy because he didn't want them to lead to World War II. Whatever was asked by Hitler and Mussolini could be given to them because they wanted to appease them to prevent them from causing World War. But the more they were appeased, they became confident. They demanded for more and more territories. Hitler demanded for Austria. Hitler demanded for Poland. I can tell you, when it came to Poland, Chamberlain said, no, we cannot give Hitler Poland. Hitler attacked Poland by force, thinking that the powers were fearing him. And this finally led to World War II. So the appeasement policy. In a bid to appease Hitler and Mussolini, they made him more stubborn. And this